I know you feel it, the burning in your spirit, welling deep inside. You got a beast inside. I know it's hard to tame it, it's harder to explain it. Can't even get a picture, no matter how you frame it. There's so much pressure with all these external stresses, and undoubtedly try to test you. Gotta push them through the feeling, even though your mind is reeling. The power's deep inside and leads you if you were willing. Got the power. Can you feel the power? This is the hour to release your power. Got the power.
Why, hello, and welcome to a new episode of the Power Shut Up podcast. Good evening, Crystal. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm excited about tonight, like every other night, because we have some amazing guests that come on this show. And this season is all about straight with no chaser, worrying about yourself. And we're staying in line with that. Most of this season, that's what we're going to tap into. So I am bringing some powerhouses to this show. So I'm just telling y'all, you can handle the truth, which I know most of you can. But tonight is going to be just as powerful as last week, where we talked about expectations and worrying about yourself. Stop worrying about other people. And tonight, we're talking about how your health may depend on it. Okay, so we need to do better for several reasons. But before we get started, I wanted to say happy birthday to all of those who are celebrating a birthday. The reason I do these kind of things is because I am a celebrator at heart, and I don't play about birthdays. I don't. I take off for my birthday. I take off for my husband's birthday. And if you got one, I might take off for yours too. I love celebrating birthdays. So happy birthday to anybody who's celebrating a birthday. I also wanted to say happy anniversary. I love, and I don't play about anniversaries either. So if you celebrating some kind of anniversary or engagement, take off for that too. Okay, that is important. So happy anniversary, and celebrate your love how you want to. Don't worry about nobody else. And last but not least is congratulations to those who have bought a new house, started a new career. I'm gonna throw this out there, but retirement, I'm just throwing that out there. Coming soon. But congratulations to those who are doing something wonderful in their lives. Keep going, show them how to do it. And I wanted to say congratulations to those people. So I'm excited. If you all checked out some of the marketing we did out there, we talked about our theme tonight, which is shh. Your health may depend on it. And I brought the perfect guest to talk about it. And once we get to talking, you'll know why. So get ready for it. We have some commercials coming to highlight some people that are doing some wonderful things. I've received a couple of books from some fellow authors who are doing some wonderful things. So I'm going to do some special shout outs. We have a TikTok moment at the end. And I missed this last week, but there's a question that I want to pose to everybody before we leave this live at the end of the show. And I forgot to do that last week, so I'm going to make sure to do that. We have a tip of the evening, and we also have a word of the day. Because this is all about communication, whether it's building up our vocabulary. You know, everybody out there using words loud and wrong. We just need to do better. If you're going to use the word, at least know what it means and how to say it and pronounce it. So we're going to do some things. So I wanted to introduce my guest, and we can't call her a guest because, again, like Sean headed to the refrigerator to get her own drink, Dr. Tonoah will be doing the same. We not bringing her nothing to drink tonight. She can go get her own drink out the refrigerator. But Dr. Tonoah has actually been with me with the Power Shut Up Symposium. We haven't had it in a couple of years. I'm going to get back to that. But she has been one of the speakers who has poured into our guests talking about the power of shut up. So she knows all too well about what the Power Shut Up is all about. So I wanted to welcome Dr. Tonoah Hampton to the Power Shut Up podcast again. She is family. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's an honor to be here with you tonight.
Absolutely. I'm going to just give them a heads up that we kind of, confession, we started this show before we went live, where production behind scenes, Sharima had to tell us I need you to exercise your power, shut up, because it's time to go live. So that tells you how excited we are about tonight. So I wanted to get into some things. I have taken a class from Dr. Tonoah that I am still raving about, that is going to be a direct connect to tonight. And some of her history on her background is connecting me to why I think this is the perfect conversation to have with Dr. Tonoah. So Dr. Tonoah, please first tell us a little bit about what you do, and then let's go right into it about how, this communication can affect our health.
Yeah, no problem. So I am the founder of the Bomb Inc., where we are a 501c3 organization that's committed to helping women achieve optimal health and well-being. And truly, it's about connecting our spiritual health with our physical health through biblical principles, like giving you the practical application, like what do you need to do this thing? Because how we show up in one area of our life will impact other areas, rather physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, your relationships. And that's who I am. That's what I do on my side job. But aside from that, I also lead the Room to Heal, where we are truly creating sacred spaces for women and people to come in and really have authentic conversations. I believe we must tell the truth. We must show up our authentic self in order to truly get the help we need.
Absolutely. And I can already tell you that God was at work with what is happening right here tonight, based on the conversation we had, not having a previous conversation except for I will be there. And we were linked for sure. So let's talk a little bit about it, because we got into some conversations about, I know we talk about communication and how we need to communicate better with our spouses and our children and on the job. And all those things are true, but we don't talk about the effects of not getting to a better way of communicating with each other. So we can talk all day about how we got tips and tricks on how we can do this better and say this better. But I wanted to kind of tap into the feelings behind that. We talked about headaches, anxiety, stress, all of the above. So let's get into it. And welcome to everybody who's tuned in. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to join us. So good evening to you. Please feel free to engage, ask questions. We got we're going to do a giveaway tonight with the word of the day, like we've done every week. And congratulations to those who have books coming to them from the last two shows. But, and we're going to highlight Dr. Tonoah has a journal out. So I know she probably didn't think I was thinking about that, but yes, we're going to talk about your journal too. But yeah, let's talk about how communication and not doing it so effectively can actually affect your health.
Yeah, so I always start with a story. I try to share some part of me to help you connect with it, because I'm a real person doing real life. You can give me a title, but at the end of the day, I'm a person who has to take this journey. And so, like you said, it was interesting that the title would be Shh, because I had a moment probably the early September where I had an incident of something happening to me at work, and I shared it with my husband. Mm-hmm. And so I thought, here I am communicating. I need him to understand my feelings and what's going on and all of those things. And he responded because of what I said. And I expressed it with such angst and such hurt. And hear me, and I was hurt and I felt threatened and all of those things. And truly what I wanted him to do was just hear me. I needed some place to lay it down. Mm-hmm. But do we know we can't control other people's actions? So he went to protect his wife. He didn't do nothing or anything like that, but he went to handle the situation. As a result of his action, Now here comes anxiety.
Yes.
In me, migraines, like I couldn't sleep, heart palpitations. And it really came from me feeling like I had to communicate that to him in that moment at the height of my anxiety, and expecting him to be able to balance his own emotions as a person.
Right.
And so, as in created in his image, right? We talk about knowing who we are, and you got to know who the other person is, because there are some responses that come out of that space. But for the last month, just about a month to the day, for the last month to the day, I have been battling. But 2 days ago, God said to me, shh. And that will be the same time you asked me to come on to your show.
How about that?
Right? Shh. And my health was like, I couldn't figure out why, although I was praying and using my journal, and he was doing some work in me. But I had to realize that this mouth that I used, because I just had to get it out, created rippling effects in my body that I couldn't even control.
That's right. And you don't even know how you're connecting to, and like I said, we did not have any previous conversations besides the title of the show, because usually I let him lead me in what I think the title should be, and then who is best to connect with this. And I thought about you, but the tip is also connected, which you've already kind of said, but we'll wait till we get there. But you've connected all of the dots. And I thought about this because I also shared with you that I took a class from you, and I'm still raving about this class because you actually talked to us about the difference between personality versus temperament. And a lot of people don't know that there's a difference. And that's why sometimes we show up differently than who we even say we are. And we don't understand why we're acting a certain way. But you telling people, like, I like you to come straight to it, bring it straight to me. I can handle it. But then when they do, you're confused at why you're feeling some kind of way about it. And now your body's tensed up and all these kind of things from communication. So that's why you were also one of those people that I said, okay, you checked all of me in that moment. So I wanted to share that, and also just kind of tap into, without giving you too much about the Power Shut Up, but there was a health issue, or more than one, that was identified from me communicating something over and over and over again that I had absolutely no control over. And it opened up a whole door of stuff that I had to deal with.
Stuff, how our mouths get us into a situation. Right? Like, you feel like you just gotta get it out. I gotta tell you my truth. Because I can't hold it on the inside. And what I have learned over this last month is balance. You have to absolutely know when to say it and when not to say it. So when I heard the word shush, the funny thing about it was I was calling myself studying. And so I would hear shh. And then I would have another thought. And then it was like, shh. And then another thought tried to come. And then it was like, shh, one more time. And I thought about the gym, right? In my house, like I thought about the gym. And he says, okay, it's time for you to take care of you. All this stuff that's going on in your head, all of these things that you have been doing this month, yes, you have sat, you have studied, you have read your word, you have been good at that. But there's some things you have to get back to take care of you.
That's right.
Because you have not been taking care of you. And he remind me, I haven't implemented any of the good blueprints we all want for our health.
Implementation, huh?
What implementation? He said you gotta begin to apply.
That's right.
These lessons, and even down to the journal. He said you wrote this journal 2 years ago, and now it took this situation for you to sit through the spiritual transformation. In your own book. How many times have we, because for those of us who want to help other people, be there for other people, but we haven't truly done all of the work, or we start processes, then we abort it, then we can't figure out, I lost 2 pounds last week, but you haven't finished the process. You stalled, Now you want God to tell you something else. He said, go back to the process. I've given you everything you need to do. And what does it profit you to have all of the instructions to Noah and not apply them?
How about that? And I think that's actually a spot that we all get stuck in. So because we know. I think about, and it's a direct connect to the health issues that I came across from that moment that, and I'm not going to tell the whole story because y'all can go out there and get that book because I'm trying to tell you it's a good book. But no, with the Power Shut Up, I was talking, complaining, and all of a sudden I couldn't swallow. And from that, I thought I was losing my mind. So it was a whole trickle effect, rush to the hospital. What's going on with me? I'm telling people I can't breathe, but my mouth is moving. I'm talking. I'm telling people something's going on with me, but I could not breathe in my mind. I don't want to die. That's what I kept saying. I don't want to die. But I discovered some things that were going on with my body that had actually been going on for years, but it was hidden by me with all of this stuff I was talking about that was heavy on me. And it, everything comes to a head. And I think think about it. Most of the time we don't realize when it's going to happen. And then when it does, we're not connecting it to anything we've been talking about.
Nope.
But when I circled this back around, and this was a few months of going through this, I realized that at that moment, and I can joke about it now, but God said, okay, you're talking too much, so I'm gonna shut you all the way down. Because we all know that when you swallow, you're swallowing every time you're talking. And I was in the business at that point of trying to control my swallowing. So I can't even tell you where my mind was, because who can do that? Where they make them at? Because there's no such thing, right? So, right. I mean, the things that we don't, like you said, take it full circle. We start, then we stop, but we don't connect the dots and figure out, oh, this is because it is. He shut me up.
He shut me down. He has shut me down. Like, I couldn't figure out this last month. Like, it was the one thing, but it was the catalyst that I had to begin to think about how I was speaking. What was I putting out in the atmosphere? What was I believing? What was I trusting? Like, and all of it was truly impacting my health, like my mental health. Like, I remember saying one day to my husband, okay, this is heavy. And I guess I'm just gonna have to lose my mind for you to pay me attention. Who says that?
Right. Speaking that out loud.
Who says that out loud? Like, God is like, Tonoah, I need, because those were the kind of things I was saying, because this year and a half had been tough. Then I had this incident that had me threatened. Like, I was shaking. But it was in the moment that God would take that and seize that moment to begin some true inner healing that I needed, because there was a lot of things happening. I ran to my husband instead of trusting God, talking to God, right? I ran to another source, and it created another problem for me because I just could not shut up. I didn't shut up long enough to ask the God, what should I do in this moment?
Right.
Right? Or you just want to call your girlfriend or whatever it was. And so here was a pattern of behavior I had been having for a year with relationship to this space. Now, how has it impacted my health? 30 pounds later. Yet to everybody who's seen me, I'm like, you don't look like you did a year ago. No, I don't. 30 pounds heavier, because I was holding all of this, and instead of taking it to him, instead of still doing everything that he had given me to do. That's how the bomb came to be. He told me that I had to have balance. And here I was preaching and finding myself a public failure.
Absolutely. Look, it's funny because although when this happened to me, of course, I had weight to lose. I was like, I'm on a mission. Not at that moment I wasn't, but wanted to lose some pounds. But it's funny how things happen, because I was so scared straight from what happened, and he shut me all the way down. I mean, I wouldn't talk on the phone because that required me to have to swallow, and I ain't want to choke. So I stopped eating. And when I say I stopped eating, I lost 50 pounds really quickly. Okay, so I know all the tricks on how to get that weight off of you. And I wasn't even doing it the way they tell you to do this, and it takes time and 2 pounds a week and all of that. It just fell off, but it was so much on me. But in that process, I know that the message was several things: that you need to shut up, you need to listen, and that you're not taking care of yourself. So not only did it switch from I needed to lose some weight, I lost the weight, but it still did not resolve things, because in losing the weight, I had other issues. I wasn't getting the fiber that I needed. I wasn't getting the protein that I needed. So I ended up with other health issues. But I think all of this was a collective, because it's like, okay, it's time to get some things done. Not just your mouth, your body. You talking a lot, but you're not doing a lot to help you. And it's amazing on the other end of that, without giving too many details, on how at the end of that, I found my voice again, but it changed who I was, not only as a person. My triggers were different. I couldn't handle disputes and conversations in the room with me. I had to remove myself, because it would trigger me back to the controlling my swallowing. That's how my body showed up. It was like, okay, now I'm having problems with my swallowing again, because there's tension in the room. And that's how communication was affecting me. So that's why I said there's a direct link in how we talk. And when you talked about saying things out loud, when we say, I can't handle it, or I can't this, and I stop people more often now than ever and say, don't say that. Don't claim it, because you bringing that energy in.
Yeah, absolutely. And that word control, I've heard you say it a couple of times tonight, and that's truly what most of this is about. Right? We believe that we're able to control it, and intelligent people, I think we might be intelligent people, right? We know the art of language, right? We know how to use it to move people, to move people back up off of us, to manipulate people. And so when God showed me that, me using my voice, even telling my husband that, what did I think he was going to do?
That part.
Right? It was to get a response. Now, the response I wanted, so I'm, you know me, I try to be transparent as I can be. I really, what he should have done was just to come to me and find me and hug me, right?
But then you go controlling, right?
Because I'm going, right? So here you are controlling it. And because your need to control everything, control the situation. And the reason why I was really shattered in that moment was because I also wasn't in control of that situation. Something was happening to me. But instead of going to God, your Father, who says he's your protector, who says he's your savior, you are trying to control it like you know better than God. And as a result, there are rippling implications for this body, because the body keeps the score. It's true. So it shows up in your joints, and you can't figure out why your feet hurt, your knees hurt. You can't figure out why, like, I'm just so tired, I can't stay awake. My head. And for me, it was the migraines. Like, I'm waking up in the morning having to take something. I'm going to bed at night having to take something. I'm in the middle of the day saying, give me a BC, Jesus, because if you don't give me one, and all at the same time, this mouth is still trying to pop up.
Right.
And I'm still doing this, and I have had to watch even today. Today was today, and as somebody said to me, like, today had today's, and each time they kept trying to come, because I've been in this season of shh. I had to say, the person was like, so can I talk to you? I said, nope, not right now.
About that.
No, right now. Somebody else was telling me her woes, and she was telling me how this wasn't right, and she didn't understand it. And I did like this. Because what I noticed over this month, I've been on a journey of evaluating myself, introspection. How are these conversations that I've engaged in influence me? And I'm the one sick. And guess what? After they dump in your yard with all of this stuff, they go home, and I'm walking around with bags of trash and a pooper scooper.
That's right. That's right. And here's the thing, because you brought me to a moment where I knew that I was in a place of growth. because, I was that person. I am that person. I just think that you have to learn how to take in how much, when, and when not. And I was that person. If something's going on with you, you come talk to me, I got you. And sometimes people would have not a clue that I might have been going through something myself, because I was like, no, I'm supposed to be here for them. I'll deal with my stuff later. And it could be anything, but I never let it be known that I was, or whatever I was holding was too much to bear. Because I wasn't going to give you that. I got it. I got this. I got this, and I got you. Until one day, I don't know what happened, but it was a feeling. And it was after all of this stuff was happening to me that a friend had reached out to me and was, pouring out and going through it. But in that moment, I felt guilty on some level, but I was like, no, this really is about me. It's nothing about the person, but I'm going to listen is what I said. This is the first time I'd ever done this in my life. I'm here. I'm going to listen, but I'm not going to respond, because right now I'm at that place. Now, I will say I got a text message that wasn't very friendly, like, oh my God, you're not being a good friend. And I expected that, because this wasn't something I've ever done before. Later on, they got it. But in that moment, I knew that as much as I want to be there for you, I'm in a place right now where I can't take me over, because then we're dealing with a whole nother situation. So I got to stop you and just tell you what my limits are, what my boundaries are, and then we can talk about this later. But that was the very first time I did that. And I'm telling you, after I got over the initial feeling kind of bad at first, it was the weight that was lifted off of me in that moment, still going through stuff, but not taking on somebody else's stuff. I can't tell you how good that felt. And we were able to get back to her stuff, but at that moment, it was nothing else I had to give. I couldn't do it.
It is I've been in that space. And the truth of the matter is, it feels good to not try to hold on to, just as you said, to hold on or help, provide the help through all of their problems. I can listen. Tell me what you need. So that's my new word. Tell me what you need from me. Are you looking for a response, or are you just looking for me to listen?
Oh, that's a good one.
Right? Like, tell me what the expectations are, because I don't want to pour into you something, one, that you don't want to hear, and two, that's outside of what I should be giving.
Right.
And truly walking through this journey, and it's been a balance in that, because there's been other places, like I've been in a shush for a lot of those things related to emotions that have me like this. So it's been like, don't say nothing, don't respond, don't send the email, just wait, don't send the email. Then
talking about the Kermit the Frog email, commercial, or the thing,
Jim Carrey, he won't. He's kept me from that. But the beauty of it is, then somebody else will come along and drop the nuggets, handle the email, or swoop in with the answer, where I was, because I had been in this space of controlling. Now I've had this hurt moment. I've had this. Now I'm on guard like this, like some, and all it's doing is producing tension.
Yep. Stress.
Tension.
Yep.
Stress. So then I had to begin to say, okay, God is like, release this to me. Give me this situation. I know. Yep, it's your job. I know. I gave that to you too. I can handle it. Open your hands. And I never realized how afraid I truly was of trusting, of the surrender. Like, we say we trust God. I say I trust God. I tell y'all every Monday. But what I can tell you is, in this season, he's been asking me, do you really trust me? If I make you wait a little longer and it don't turn out like you think, you have a little, will you still trust me? If it isn't perfect with the outcomes that you want, will you still trust me?
Oh, now that's good, because, and you know what? I thought about that, because I kept saying the word control, and that's exactly what it was. And it's where I identified that, not that I didn't know, but it's where I identified that, okay, you on another level with this. You trying to control. And it really did, and I guess that's why, even with the title of the book, I use shut up versus be quiet, because I didn't know enough about me to know that be quiet wasn't gonna work, because you can tell me be quiet and I'm keep on talking because it's like, okay, whatever. But I'm just trying to say, okay, so shut up work, because it was like, okay, wait a minute, because of course it's a shocker. Right. And it's like, oh, wait a minute, who are you talking to? But in that moment, and that's what you're talking about, taking that one moment, that will be the difference between tragedy or in the direction of healing, because you have to take a moment to just thinking about it, whether it's going to tell your husband, because what you did was, I've been in those moments when I was think about it now and say that was just selfish of me, because I just wanted to get it off of me. And never thought about what I was now loading onto someone else. And guess what? He found a way to bring it on back. I'm going to give it back to you. You try to give it away, but you're going to own this until you get it right.
No, yeah, definitely. And we just a second, like just enough so that the fire of the emotion and feeling that initially comes up, you could just let it figure out if it's a flicker and it's out, because you know how you try to strike a match and it really doesn't do anything, or is it something that's going to set a blaze? And are you ready? Because I wasn't ready for the consequences,
right,
of my dump, because I poured kerosene on it.
Well, look, let's talk, because Lisa had a great question you wanted to discuss. During your conversation, you mentioned the idea of not having control. Could you clarify if you were expressing that perspective? I'd love to understand the role of control. And with Lisa, was that to me or Dr. Tonoah? Because I know with me, it was like, and I'm trying to think the best way to explain it, because I think I was trying to control a situation by whether it was venting about it so that the outcome would be that I'm heard, you hear what I say, and you fix it the way I'm telling you to fix it, but not realizing that in that moment, I was literally out of control, because everything that happened after that, I couldn't seem to get a grip on. I was trying. So I'm running after, she said, either is great. But I think with me, I don't know if this helps, Lisa, I was trying to control a situation for a long period of time by continuing to talk about it, venting about it, angry about it, because I'm like, you're not doing it the way I'm telling you to do it. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? Fix it. And in that moment, I lost control of my swallowing. At least I'm going to say I thought I did. And then my mind went somewhere else with it and took me on a whirlwind of uncontrollable things. And I spent my whole time through those uncontrollable things trying to control each moment. But Dr. Tonoah, you can take that and see if you, and I can repeat it. During your discussion, you mentioned the idea of not having control. Could you clarify if you were expressing that perspective? I'd love to understand your thoughts on the role of control.
So for me, I didn't initially see it as control. I have since learned that my actions have been my attempt to control situations, right? So my use of my words, my thoughts, because I'm a sharer, so I'm going to share my thoughts, I'm going to share my feelings and my emotions, and I needed to get that out. But it wasn't in that moment that I thought about trying to control my husband. I didn't see it as control. I felt like I needed to share it. I needed it to somebody needed to know that this had happened to me. But what I realized is because there was some other things going on in some other spaces, it was a mechanism that was very familiar to me to get what I needed done. And so in that case, what I didn't understand is that I would ignite a fire that was so large in my husband, even though he's still very quiet, he was still mild-mannered handling it, but I could not control his action, and not being able to control his action and learning that he took an action then made me mad because I didn't have control over the outcome.
Right.
I couldn't control, and now it's happening to me.
Right.
And so,
yeah. So, and I want to ask, make sure Lisa, does that help? Because I'm glad you asked that question though, because I think for me, it was the perspective for me. I thought, on the other hand, that I had control of this whole situation and that everybody else was just not getting it. Like, y'all are not listening to me. She said, thank you. I appreciate you elaborating. I really felt like, and it's actually becoming more clear as Lisa asked the question, because I really felt like I had control of it. I thought I was a wonderful communicator. And it's like, I'm not understanding why you all aren't falling in and recognizing what I'm saying is causing this problem and And then afterwards, I think I realized that I had the perspective that I was, I thought I was in control. I sure did. Mm-hmm. And I think I was fighting with the thought that I had absolutely no control from the beginning. I really wasn't in control, which is why I ended up where I was, because I was busy, pushing my head around. And that's why somebody told me shut up, because it's like, hey, this ain't working. I know you think you're in control, but are you getting is this what you looking for? Because I wasn't getting the outcome I was looking for, but I kept doing the same stuff that I was doing. So when Lisa asked that, I'm thinking, I was thinking I was in control, and I was mad at myself because I was like, wait a minute, this was tapping into something about myself that not just had to the situation, but just in life in general. Control over my children, being a yeller, control over situations that I just really have no control over. It doesn't mean I'm wrong about what I'm thinking, but I still don't have any control over another human being. I only have control over how I'm going to respond. So I'm glad she tapped into that for me, because that's really what the Power Shut Up is all about. I actually started to gain control in that I could only control my responses to things, the way I looked at things. And I had to be okay with the fact that what I think you might do to respond to what I'm saying, or what I think you might do, it might not turn out that way. And I need to be, my 2 favorite letters I told y'all are okay. I had to be okay with the fact that they might not respond the way I want them to, but stay true to what I'm saying and then let it go.
I was in denial. So I'm the person who was in denial. Now, mind you, I know my temperament, funny, right? But I'm still in denial, because truly that's not where I'm at. I'm a very humble person, caring person, and I never really equated my actions to controlling. I thought it was being the leader that I am, being the nurse that I am, right? We guide, we care for, we direct these kind of things. And I truly didn't see it as such until it was taken from me, or what I thought was taken from me.
Right.
I was like, oh my God. And somebody multiple people, as a matter of fact, kept saying, why are you so mad? Like, what did you expect them to do?
Right.
What did you want them to do? And I was like, not that. Who gets to make a decision for me?
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
And now here I am. And because I didn't take that moment. I wasn't clear, as I want people to be, and say, hey, I just need to get this out. Just listen to me. I don't want you to respond. No, I set it ablaze, but I really did not see it as control until God really had me begin to sit. And the reason why you try to control it, to know the reason why you like the narrative, you want to control your image. Because Dr. Tonoah Hampton don't do stuff like this. Like, sir, what you doing? Like, you know how hard I worked on this? And he was like, pride. Yes, come on. I want you to give me all those things and trust me. You want to control it. Can you hold your hand open like this? You can hold more sand than if you do like this. If you do like this, I can fill your hands with what you need. If you do this because you want to hold on to it, you want it to go the way that you go. All of the sand, try it at the beach. It falls between your fingers. But if you just hold your hand like this, you can hold mounds of sand. And depending on how the Father drops the sand in your hand, it won't even fall out. You're not losing anything. But I didn't see it that way. And then again, the rippling consequences was how my body was keeping score. Like,
oh, wow.
it is holding on to all of those places. So I was having problems with my liver. Like literally, I'm going to had to get a liver scan, and they're talking about tumors growing again. And I'm like, God, this is going backwards. Because see, in 2015, I had my last surgery. When the bomb was birthed, it was birthed around a place that he said that I could not hold on to those sins and those things inside of me, hatred, abuse, all of those things. I could not do that. Because it was causing illness in my body. So here I am now, 2024. Am I going backwards, God? God, I can't possibly be going backwards. You gave me the bomb. I've been walking people through healing, and now I find myself needing the physician. I'm got to go for the scans. We back on the same journey.
Wow.
Because one, your inability to and listen to me.
Right.
And be obedient to what I tell you to do,
and
trust that I am in control. I know that I knew that would happen. Now, would you trust me to let me show you how I will use even this?
Right.
To take care of you. So what has happened for the last 20, almost 30 plus days? I've been in a season of getting back to basics in my relationship, in my health.
We've had this conversation before, and another thing that I was thinking about too was in the lane of where I struggled was in forgiveness with this, and I was stressing a lot about things I felt like had been done to me, or things, the ways I have been treated. And I wanted to respond, and I wanted to respond in Lisa's way. Lisa, like people who knew me, like, okay, Lisa being quiet. That's why that was really a surprise. Lisa being quiet, like what? But I wanted to, you want to check somebody. You want to tell them about what you're not going to do, how you're not going to treat me. But here's why another thing with the Power Shut Up that I wanted to share with this is that I had to learn that I can absolutely go out there and tell somebody how I feel about how they treated me. I could do that. But when I did that, I'm tapping into last week's show as well. I figured out, now I didn't have all the answers with this at first, but I started to figure out I'm still having issues though. I'm stressing. I have anxiety about this, but why am I when I'm getting ready to tell them how I feel? So that's supposed to get it off of you, right? But because I was also already deciding what I was expecting to be the response. And I had to take a moment to think about, was I ready for that? Because what I wanted to happen might not happen. Meaning that a lot of times we decide we're going to tell somebody about themselves, and we assume that they're going to receive it, they're going to get the lesson, and they're going to be like, you know what, you was right, girl. I messed up. How often does that happen? And so I took a step back and decided that I was not going to approach the situation until I was okay with either response.
Okay with the outcome, even if it wasn't what you expected. And again, that goes back to control, because we want to control the outcome. And we've been trained that if I do A plus B plus C, I get this result. But we forget that we are interacting with other people, and they get to make their A plus B plus C choice. And it may not equal the same thing that it equals for us. And are we going to be okay with?
And I wasn't. Oh, that's how I knew I wasn't ready to deal with it, because I was stressed out. Already mad about, because then they're going to say this and they're going to say that. So I had to step back and say, okay, well then you don't need to say anything. You need to stop, because, we get that angst about, I got to get it off of me. I got to get off of me. I'm going to tell them, but I had to say, okay, so Lisa, this is where I think we have to hold it for a minute. Take a minute. If you ain't ready for the reaction, then maybe it ain't time for you to have a conversation. And that was me dealing with me, because I knew that this was just going to make my situation worse. And the reason I say that is because I always felt worse after I let somebody have it. I did. I always felt worse after I let somebody know exactly what I was feeling. I got it off my chest. I told them about themselves, and I felt worse afterwards. And it was because I wasn't prepared for the fact that this might not land. They might not agree, or they might laugh in your face, whatever it might be. I don't know. This just makes me think about a lot of areas where people are not connecting it to the words that are coming out of their mouths, the anxiety and the stress that they have on their lives. They're not connecting it. And that's why I think words are so powerful. I wanted to share some of the comments, Dr. Tonoah, and then we're going to take a quick commercial break before we come back. But Empowering Perspective said wargaming, action, reaction, counteractions is a tactic the military used to prepare for battle against their adversary. Absolutely. But look at what we're doing to ourselves. I mean, it's like we're beating ourselves up. It's kind of like, a bug flies in the car and you trying to hit it, you hit yourself, getting yourself
Mm-hmm.
upside the head. We just fighting ourselves. And I think at one point, I looked at it as being in a boxing ring, but there's nobody in there with you. And you steadily fighting. You got your gloves on, but you fighting you.
Mm-hmm.
And when it was time to take a several seats, sit down somewhere.
Right.
Lisa said, Dr. Lisa, you are saying you were still trying to control the outcome, but your expectation. I was trying to, Lisa, I'm being very transparent. I was trying to control everything. That's what set me down, because I was like, okay, so I got control of my words. I know what I'm going to say. But then when I thought about it, I said, I don't know if I can handle what's about to happen. And this is somebody really special in my life that I really needed to let some things happen. And I said, I can't do it until I'm ready. I was trying to go up. Sharif, did we miss any comments? I want to make sure we're capturing what everybody's saying. So let me do this while we go through it and make sure thank you all so much for engaging. I'm loving this conversation. Let's take a commercial break and we're going to come right back and continue this conversation because Dr. Tonoah going to have to come back again too. So that's why I'm saying y'all are always stuck with us at the Power Shut Up podcast. But let's take a break and we'll be right back.
Want to grow your brand's reach? We're seeking sponsors like you for our upcoming episodes. Whether you need a custom graphic or full commercial, our creative team can make it happen. Get your brand in front of a dedicated audience today. Let's create something amazing together. Contact DSM Media today to secure your spot.
We are back, and thank you all for continuing to tune in and support. I want to do a couple shout outs before we continue the conversation, before we have to go. But there are two people. This gentleman, Neville Barber, I hope he's still in here, actually was a guest on the show prior to him releasing his book. And you all know I like to do just spontaneous shout outs to people who are doing amazing things out here. And he has finally released his book, and I have a copy. The name of his book is The Making of Men, and it's Neville C. Barber. Please go out there on Amazon and find his book. I think he's in the live too, so you can absolutely connect with him and see how you can get your copy. But definitely to talk about this book. I didn't want him to tell too much because he hadn't published it yet, but I like to come back and circle around when somebody is working on something and it finally comes to pass. And so congratulations to you on this book. I got my copy. I'm encouraging you all to go out and support him because I think it's a really good thing when men are pouring back into young men, older men. They don't do a lot of this. And so when I see it, he is here. When you see it, please get out there and support it. I know when he came on the show, he talked about how he's really interested in pouring back into our youth. young men. And this is a good one. So The Making of Men, please go out there and connect with him. And I did want to do a special shout out to a friend of mine. When I received my honorable doctorate in June, she was one of my fellow graduates, and she has a children's book that she has out there. And so I wanted to actually give a shout out to her on her new children's book. I think this is Nova Loves Halloween, but it's by Dr. Lillian Gaines McKinney. But I got her copy to support her. So please go out there and check out all her children's books. She has several. And I'm always for those kind of things, because I also have a children's book series called Cam Capers that captures the journey between me and my grandson. So I think it's over this side. Yeah, this side. But we have a couple of books coming out, and some surprises with the Power Shut Up that I will be putting out there. So please stay connected. But let's have a little bit more conversation on this. But remember, we have a giveaway with the word of the day, and then we have a tip of the day. And I also wanted to introduce you again. Some of you all haven't met her, but Dr. CC will always be in the house with us. So I wanted to introduce you to Dr. CC. When you see her out there, don't you let nobody else claim her. That is Dr. CC right there. And we're going to have some giveaways so you all can kind of guess what CC means. But in connection with the conversation we've been having, Dr. Tonoah, because you know I could just talk to you for hours about this and other things. The direct connect between our health, empowering perspectives, seeing Cam in the back seat speaking a foreign language. Awesome. Absolutely. We were trying to get them numbers out for Spanish, and I think that was when he was like 3. I don't know if he's moved on to something else, because these kids are growing fast and he know a whole lot more than I do. but yes, I love and adore my relationship with my grandson, and we try to pour into him any way we can. And so it's funny when he comes over and he brings his book with him, and with book, his mom in the book, his dad in the book, Lolo in the book. And I think we should see more of that from our own, to be able to recognize them in books. Please, let's keep supporting each other out here doing some wonderful things. We have some wonderful people that are in the chat, Dr. Tonoah, that I would love for you to connect with. Lisa's in here, Empowering Perspectives. They do a lot with their YouTube channel. So please, you all put your information in the chat so people can go and subscribe to your pages. They have some amazing panels. They're also on TikTok, you all. I've met some really great people on TikTok, and there's some really great spaces that will pour into you. And I have gained so much from the connection. So I appreciate you all and support you in any way I can as well. But when it comes to our health, these are the kind of things that we need to be doing. Communicating positivity, communicating how to support others. It was funny, real quick, I was going to mention before we go into our word of the day and our tip, Dr. Tonoah, is when I had gone through this transformation, I noticed that when I would say things like, say we were playing a game and somebody was about to lose, I would be like, it's okay, because my perspective had changed. It's okay, you got another turn, we'll do this again. And people were almost annoyed with me because we are so accustomed to the negative energy that is all over the place that our bodies don't even know how to receive positive. It was like they were annoyed with the fact that I was saying, it's going to be okay, let's get back to it. And they were like, girl, bye, sit down somewhere. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. And I really was like, people are really not comfortable with the positivity. And I think we should tap into that. Like, why is our body not even willing to receive it? I mean, literally the face would frown up like, what? Like, what you talking about? And that took me aback. I was just like, wow, I didn't realize how comfortable we are with negative talk.
Interesting. I think misery loves company. We've heard that kind of phrase said a lot when we were younger. And so many times we have been groomed or socialized in settings where, one, it's been natural to talk down to one another or talk in a negative way. Some people's temperament leads themselves to be more negative than other temperaments that have a tendency to be more positive. So you add life situations and life circumstances to your temperament, and without the guidance of the Holy Spirit, you go off. You going down a slippery slope, right? Because what we know about temperaments, there's no good one, no bad one. It's just who we are. And when we are surrendered to God in how he uses those things to show up in the earth, then we're able to truly have the impact. And some of us have been socialized. I can be very honest about myself. I have a natural tendency, right, at times to not see the good. So I have to work and continue to surrender my thoughts to do what the word of God says. Think on these things that are loving, that are true, that are of good report, because here comes the world. So every signal that you're seeing, you're picking it up and viewing it through the lens of your experience and your temperament.
Wow. You look, I already told you we going back to that class and pushing some more out on that. I think it's a powerful class that more people should take. So I'm hoping that we can connect again and then, connect with some other people. I want us to go to the word of the day, because part of communication is, increasing our vocabulary. And I always laugh. Sometimes I'll say things and my husband was like, why you gotta use some big words? And I'm like, it's not a big word. It just means this. And he said, well, then say that. Like, why don't you just say that? So the word of today is facetious. And the first person to give the definition of facetious in the chat will win a gift. We gave out a couple of books, The Power Shut Up. If you don't have a copy of The Power Shut Up, that will be your gift. If you do, then we have other gifts that we will give away. So please, if you know the definition of facetious, drop it in the chat real quick and let's see who can be the winner. We had a couple of winners that are receiving books, but who can give me the definition? I think it's a pretty, I don't know, appropriate word at times. We do it more than we say the word. Let's say that. Empower Perspective say, I'm going to sit this one out. Okay, he's going to give somebody else a chance. If you are in the room, we're going to give you a minute to drop the definition of facetious. The word of the day is facetious. Now, while I'm doing that, y'all please share this with your friends and tell them come on in and win a book or win something. But in the meantime, I want to share, Dr. Cece is going to share another tip of the day, which is going to be a direct connect to what we've been talking about, Dr. Tonoah. So the tip of the day is everything that comes to your head does not have to come out of your mouth. Take a minute to think before you speak. And I have a t-shirt that says the same thing, because that's what we need to start doing. I'm not saying it resolves all of your problems, but taking a minute can sometimes be the difference that's needed. So Neville, he said to not be serious, flip it. Absolutely. You are the winner. You are the winner. I'm not sure if you have a copy of The Power Shut Up, but if you do, let me know and we will get another gift to you. Clarissa was a little bit late, but that's all right. You can come back next week and we're going to do another giveaway with a new word. But thank you all. It's always a pleasure to have you here with us. We do some real talk in real time. This is not the last time you will see Dr. Tonoah here, but I want you to let them know where they can find you and connect with you, because I hope to have all of you all in the same room, hopefully at the Power Shut Up Symposium. But let them know where they can find you.
Yes, no problem. So every Monday morning, 7 a.m. Monday morning. I know it's early. I know you might be on your way out to work, but I do the Bomb TV with Dr. Tonoah Hampton, where we're sharing biblical principles for practical applications to transform our lives from the inside out. Every second Saturday, this is new, the Room to Heal, right? The Room to Heal. Every second Saturday, we're getting in the room and creating sacred space. And then you can also find me on Instagram as Tonoah Hampton, 1H, not 2. And then my website, www.tonoahhampton.com.
Please, you all tune in on Monday mornings. I'm not sure what time zone you are on. It is a powerful moment that gets, many times I'm able to get in. Sometimes I can say something. If I miss it, I go back and try to check the replays, but it's a great way to start your day off. She gets you, it's better than a cup of coffee. Let's say that. You go in there and you get ready for the day, but I enjoy them. She really does get you up and get you started to help you have an amazing day. So thank you for everything that you do, Dr. Tonoah. Please connect with those in the chat, and please, you all reach out to Dr. Tonoah. What we're going to end with is it's not a TikTok moment, though. This is a message to end the evening, and then I have a question for you before we say goodnight. So let's check out this message for that'll get us into next week. Let's check it out.
Looks like the winds are changing.
Change is good.
Yeah, but it's not easy. I know what I have to do, but going back means I'll have to face my past. I've been running from it for so long. Ow! Jeez, what was that for?
It doesn't matter. It's in the past.
Yeah, but it still hurts.
Oh, yes, the past can hurt. But the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it. Ah! You see? So what are you going to do?
First, I'm gonna take your stick.
No. Not a stick. Hey! Where are you going?
I'm going back!
Good! Go on! Get out of here!
I love that message. I love it.
That was good.
Take that with you until we again on Thursday. Remember, we're here every Thursday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I have a question for you to think about. Maybe next week come back to answer, but I like to ask this question after. Are we going to use word or to help or heal? That's your decision. I ain't got no control over it. I done learned that lesson. I can't control nobody else, but it's something to think about when we speak. What's our intent? Are we trying to help or are we trying to hurt? If you can answer that in one way or the other, that should kind of help you out on where you might need some work or where you might need to keep following that path. So have a wonderful week, and we will see you again next Thursday. Thank you so much, Dr. Tonoah. I appreciate you.
No, thank you. I appreciate you.